Howdy guys, my name is Billy, aka The Reading Cowgirl, and welcome back to the channel. January has since passed, and in the first month of the year I read 9 books, so let's talk about them. Of those 9 books, 2 were rereads, and it also includes 1 DNF, unfortunately. And I started off the year with Dream on Ramona Riley. At that time, the newest book by Ashley Herring-Blake, but since finishing the second book in this series has been published. Which will follow Ramona Riley, and she lives in a very small town where they decided to shoot a movie, and Ramona Riley begins a romance with the main character of that movie. And Ramona has actually met Dylan once before when she was 13, and they shared 1 kiss and never spoke again. But Ramona's also like, hey, I know you, but you don't know that you know me. And this one was just a lot of fun. I love books about celebrities. I especially enjoy it if like both of the people are celebrities, and if like the navigate the entire we're about celebrities but how the hell we're gonna date situations. In this one only Dylan was a celebrity, but I still really liked it. And I'm also very curious about book 2 in this series, which I hopefully will be able to pick up soon. In the end, I think I gave this one 4 stars because I really liked it. Then I read Splinter and Ash, City of Secrets. This is actually the Dutch edition. I really like this one. I think I enjoyed it more than book 1 in this series, in which you follow Splinter and Ash is the princess of the country, and Splinter has one dream, and that's becoming a knight. But she's a girl, sort of. She doesn't really know yet. And girls can't be knights, but they band together to protect the city and hopefully for Splinter to become a knight. And I also really like that in this book we explore more of Splinter's gender identity, and I really can't wait to see where this goes in book 3. Then I read my favorite book of the month, Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson, in which Jed is hit over the head after she comes home from a Halloween party. She miraculously survives, but also gets the news that she probably in a week or so will have a brain breaker aneurysm that will inevitably kill her. So she has 7 days to solve her own murder. And she bonds together with one of her childhood best friends to try and solve literally her own murder. I would absolutely recommend listening to this one on audiobook. I listened to it on audiobook, and the narrator put everything she had in it. It was incredible. I think the narration was it was so good. I would really recommend listening to this one on audiobook. I have this beautiful edition from Waterstones as well, and it just looks really cool. And I also love how they have the brain scans in here. I do have to say, I know this is technically an adult novel. This one read like a YA. I kept reminding myself Jed and I were in fact the same age, because she's 27, I'm 27. It read like a YA though. And I was like, oh yeah, this is an adult. This is a full-fledged adult. She can drive. She sort of has to have a life. And I think on that, it felt a bit short. But overall, I really enjoyed this one. Then I read The Marriage Narrative. I used to have a beautiful Afterlight copy, and I sold that one because I unfortunately did not like the book. I listened to it on audiobook, and at one point I was just playing Stardew Valley deep into the night because I just wanted the book to be over. There will be a vlog in which I'm actually reading the book and some other books up, I want to say next week or the week after, and I will talk about a bit more in depth on my opinion on that book, but I didn't like it. No. The characters felt flat. I think the entire premise of the main character wanting to marry somebody because of convenience was really interesting, and I really liked that aspect. And the whole, the guy is actually on a reality show with his family 11 months of the year was kind of cool, but it didn't come to fruition, and that really bothered me. I own 1 or 2 other books by this author, and now I'm afraid to read them because I did not like her adult book. So I don't know if I like her YAs, and it makes me a bit anxious. But we'll see. I have moved them down on the TBR because it was just not the book for me. Speaking of books that were not for me, Collide. Friend of mine said it was better than Icebreaker. It was not. It was absolutely not. I am a big lover of ice hockey romances. I loved Icebreaker, I loved Daydream, I loved Wildfire. And I was very excited about it because okay, it's by an author of color. I have a history of liking romance books by authors of color more than by white authors. So I was excited. This one the characters felt very flat. I didn't know what the fuck that epilogue was. And like, I deducted an entire star. Like, I ended up giving it 2 stars. But on one point, Aiden and Summer are having sex and he reaches for a condom and she's like, no, I'm on the pill. I trust you. And I already have issues with people having like unsafe sex in books. As an author, if you make the choice to have your characters unsafe sex on page, that's a choice I don't like. And I know she's on the pill, and I know that like a condom and a pill is like a very Dutch thing to do. I mean, we call it going double Dutch. But like, there's the risk of STDs. The pill is not 100% like trustworthy. You could still get pregnant. You could still get an STD. Like, honey, he might give you chlamydia. What the fuck are you doing? And like, I think they did mention that they both got tested. He could have lied about that. He's a man. And then, like, I think like 1 or 2 pages like after that, she gets angry at her parents because her parents were quite young when they had her. Like, you had unprotected sex when you were young. Like, honey, you had a penis without a condom in you. Like, I want to say 15 pages ago. Like, that's so hypocritical. And I just deducted an entire star because of that. And I know this just might be my Dutch brain because like we rap and we take the pill. Like, you know, so I think maybe Americans consider being on the pill as having safe sex. I, as a Dutch person, do not. So that bothered me. And then the epilogue happened and I almost threw the book across the room. You will probably see that happening in the reading vlog I previously mentioned, because I also read this one in that reading vlog, and this was just not for me, and I will probably not even try book 2. Yeah, that kind of sucks because I really like hockey romances, and so if anybody has like a good recommendation, preferably sapphic, please let me know, because this one was just not for me. And in that same reading vlog, I also read The Ninth and the Month, which was our book club book of the month. That one, I think I gave it like 3 stars. I ended up liking it well enough. I really liked the gargoyle as like the side character. I am still not sure if I'll ever read the sequel, because I think the ending was like, I don't want to say it's far-fetched, but like I could see it coming. I could see the ending coming. And it's like about a girl who lives like in a, she's like a nun, but not really a nun. She just like dreams, and then in those dreams she has like visions of the future, and she tells people about those things, and she lives there with like 5 other girls, and then they go missing. And she would one of the nights is kind of like figuring out what the hell is going on. It was just, first of all, it felt really slow to me in the beginning, and I was like, and I kept like waiting and waiting and waiting for the story to start. The audiobook narrator also sucked. I would not recommend listening to this one on audiobook because the audiobook quality is not great. And it was just, yeah, I liked it well enough that I would probably pick up other books by this author, because I think I have 2 more books by Rachel Gillicker lying around, like One Dark Window and its sequel. But I would probably not read the sequel to this book. But I am very excited to discuss this one at the book club. Hi, this is Editing Billy. I completely forgot to mention one other book that I read, which was De Avonturen van Kareltje, which was a Dutch children's book I very much enjoyed. It's like a sequel to a series I really, really liked by Dutch author Kevin Hassing. I really enjoyed this one. It was great. The author read it himself as the audiobook. If you understand Dutch, absolutely recommend it. I unfortunately do not own a physical copy, and I think that's why I forgot it. But it was really nice. I really liked that one. And then my 2 rereads of the month were Ready Player 1 and Ready Player 2. These are one of my favourite books of all time, especially book 1. I do have some gripes. I have quite a lot of gripes with Ready Player 2. I have quite a lot of issues with it, but like if I read book 1, I should reread book 2 as well. It's just, it's nerdy, it's cool, it takes place like a lot in like an online game world. It talks about mental health, and I really, really like these. I did not involve these in like my monthly ratings because I always give this one 5 stars because it's one of my favorite books of all time, and I felt bad to name this one my favorite book of the month. But yeah, if you're like a really nerdy person and you like D&D and games and the 80s, these books will be absolutely up your alley. And then there was one DNF, which happened to be Half His Age for Janet McCurdy. I was sent this by a publisher, and I was very sad to have to DNF this one because I don't want to say enjoyed. I thought that I'm Glad My Mom Died was a very interesting read, and it taught me a lot of stuff. But unfortunately, this book decided to have a Harry Potter mention in it, which I find every Harry Potter mention in the year of Lord 2026 redundant. You don't have to do that. But this one felt especially like you can use other words to describe that somebody looks old-fashioned than comparing them to Professor McGonagall. Like, there was no need for the reference. And I have the rule that every reference to the IP of main transphobe J.K. Rowling means an instant DNF. So I've DNF'd this, and I've let the publisher know that I will not be reviewing this book because in this household we stand with our trans brothers and sisters. So yeah, that was my wrap-up of January. So yeah, my favourite book was not quite dead yet. I'm very curious to know how much you read in January and what was your favourite book. And for now, I'll see you guys next week. Bye guys.